Right now on Good Morning America First Look, new chaos in Minnesota as a congresswoman is attacked. President Trump speaking exclusively to ABC News overnight about the troubling scene as we learn more about the shooting of ICU nurse Alex Preddy by federal agents and the timeline of events. Also new overnight, the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files, what the government is now saying. Major new travel delays, the growing fallout from the historic winter storm, the warning now about freezing fog, many roads still not plowed, many homes still without power, and now a surge in children being rushed to the ER. New video in the case of a man accused of killing his wife so he could be with the family's au pair. What police body camera video is revealing. Caught on camera, the skier triggering this avalanche, eventually overcome by snow. What happened next? Plus, chasing a mountain lion in San Francisco. New details on why legendary coach Bill Belichick was denied entry into the Football Hall of Fame. And later, hear from the plow driver who answered the call, helping rush a baby to the hospital in the middle of a snowstorm.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America First Look.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Hannah Batal. We begin with new tensions in Minneapolis after the shooting death of Alex Preddy by federal agents.
A man arrested at a town hall after spraying a local congresswoman with a liquid substance. ABC News spoke to President Trump overnight about this. Here's ABC's Lana Moise.
Chaos in Minneapolis, a man charging towards Congresswoman Ilhan Omar at this town hall.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
The man using a syringe to squirt a liquid witnesses say smelled like vinegar at the Congresswoman. He was quickly arrested.
I'm going to finish my remarks. It is important for me to continue.
Omar speaking out against the federal immigration crackdown, saying she won't be intimidated. President Trump responding overnight, saying he has not seen the video of the incident, but calling Omar a fraud, telling ABC News she probably had herself sprayed knowing her. Hours earlier, Trump suggested he would de-escalate federal operations in Minnesota after the shooting death of Alex Preddy. Homeland Security now says a review of body camera video confirms 2 federal agents opened fire after one agent yelled that Preddy had a gun. But at no point does the report say Preddy tried to reach for his gun. And video shows Preddy's gun being removed by an agent before the first shot was fired. Trump administration officials are facing backlash for comments made immediately after Saturday's shooting. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem accused Preddy of domestic terrorism, and Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller called him an assassin. But when asked yesterday whether he thought Preddy was acting as an assassin, President Trump responding,
"No, not as no."
Stephen Miller releasing a new statement last night saying agents may not have been following protocol. As for Noem, at least 2 Senate Republicans have joined Democrats calling for her to be fired. Democrats also threatening to impeach Noem and potentially shut down the government over DHS funding. But Trump standing by Noem in this interview with Fox News.
She was there with the border. Who closed up the border? She did. With Tom Homan.
Trump has sent border czar Tom Homan to Minneapolis to take over operations, replacing Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino.
I don't think it's a pullback. It's a little bit of a change. Bovino's very good, but he's a pretty out there kind of a guy, and in some cases that's good. Maybe it wasn't good here.
Now the spotlight turning to gun rights after the president criticized Alex Preddy for carrying a gun to a protest, a gun he was allowed to carry under Minnesota law.
I don't like the fact that he was carrying a gun that was fully loaded, and he had 2 magazines with him, and it's pretty unusual. But nobody knows when they saw the gun, how they saw the gun, everything else. Bottom line, it was terrible.
Gun Owners of America responding, peaceful protests while armed isn't radical, it's American. And the NRA saying all law-abiding citizens have a right to keep and bear arms anywhere they have a legal right to be. And another big headline from immigration operations in Minneapolis. You may remember this 5-year-old boy detained last week with his father after arriving home from preschool. A judge is now blocking federal officials from deporting them until their case is decided. Hannah, Sophie.
Lionel, thanks. New details on the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. In a new court filing, the Justice Department says the rest of the files should be released in, quote, the near term. But officials are not giving a date. They say several million pages of records have now been reviewed. By law, all of the files were supposed to be released last month, but so far less than 1% have been published.
More than 40 deaths are now blamed on the historic winter storm that hit much of the country. We're seeing more travel trouble and hundreds of thousands of lingering power outages. This morning, bitter cold, snow and ice causing problems across the country. In Tennessee, dozens of children are now being treated for carbon monoxide exposure at a Nashville hospital as families struggle to stay warm without power after last weekend's storm. More than 140,000 power outages still reported overnight in that region alone. A hospital spokesperson saying, unfortunately, many folks may have resorted to using heating options that are not optimal.
On this side, you have all of these down power lines. There are as many as 10 broken power poles on this street alone. These linemen, they're working on repairing this one.
Days after the storm, major travel disruptions linger. After a record number of cancellations, American Airlines is now offering flight attendants double pay to cover extra flights today. Some pilots and crew members sleeping in airports. Traveling by car, not much easier. People across Pennsylvania have been waiting days for their streets to be plowed.
I saw my neighbors try to make it up that hill. It didn't work out.
On Louisiana's frozen Interstate 20, hundreds of drivers were stranded for more than 24 hours. In Mississippi, the weight of snow and ice bringing down these gas station canopies, crushing cars, injuring multiple people. And in North Texas this morning, drivers are being warned about freezing fog, a type of fog that leaves a layer of ice on everything it touches. Fog of the regular kind is being blamed for this 43-vehicle pileup near Bakersfield, California. Many schools in the South and Northeast are closed for a third straight day today, and a new storm this weekend could hit the Northeast. We'll check your forecast in just a matter of moments.
NASA blames a mechanical issue for this fiery landing of a research plane in Houston. The landing gear failing to fully deploy. The crew was not hurt. NASA has been flying that type of plane since the early 1970s. And another mishap at the airport, this time in Las Vegas, a British Airways jet losing a tire after takeoff. The tire was recovered from the airfield and no one on the ground was hurt. The plane landed safely in London.
Meanwhile, the head of the NTSB is sounding the alarm about air safety after revealing new images of a mid-air collision near Washington. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the details. Nicole, good morning.
Hannah, good morning. Tomorrow marks 1 year since that American Airlines jet crashed into a military helicopter, killing 67 people. The agency now sharing these simulations showing how the airline pilots were unable to see the helicopter in the night sky until that final seconds before the impact. The view from the helicopter tells a similar story. The pilots not able to see the plane until seconds before the collision. Investigators say a faulty instrument in the chopper contributed to the crash, and they say a $400 GPS device could have prevented the tragedy. But they're also accusing the FAA of ignoring warnings about the crowded airspace around Reagan National Airport. The NTSB says other U.S. airports could be at risk of similar mid-air collisions, including one airport in California.
Burbank is one where commercial airlines have called me to say the next mid-air is going to be at Burbank. And nobody at FAA is paying attention to us.
In response, the FAA said it's cut back on flights at Reagan National and will diligently consider additional recommendations. Sophie.
Thank you. We turn now to the new video in the case of a Virginia man who's accused of killing his wife so he could be with the family's au pair. Newly released body camera video of accused killer Brendan Banfield shows him in the hospital not long after the deaths of his wife and another man, being told in this moment that his wife, Christine, had died.
Hi, sir. My name is Gina. I'm one of the doctors here. Your wife has died.
The Virginia man is now on trial, accused of plotting his wife's murder so that he could be with their au pair, with whom he was allegedly having an affair. A doctor is heard describing Christine's stab wounds.
Those were enormous wounds, and, it's not...
There were so many.
Banfield asks about his 4-year-old daughter, who was at the house the morning of the killings.
Yeah, she's safe. Yes, ma'am. She's only 4. Yes, sir.
He then asks to see the chaplain.
We say a prayer for my wife.
Say a prayer for your wife. Absolutely.
Prosecutors say it was Banfield who murdered Christine and Joseph Ryan, a man he allegedly lured to the home as a setup using a fake profile on a fetish website. Banfield told police it was Ryan who stabbed Christine, so he shot him. But the au pair tells a different story. She's pleaded guilty to manslaughter and testified that the plot was Banfield's idea so they could be together.
I was able to see him stabbing her.
Banfield seen washing blood off his hands inside that hospital.
You want to wash your hands? Probably feel better after that.
Banfield has pleaded not guilty and that trial resumes today.
Time now for your Wednesday weather.
Good morning. We're waking up to more bitterly cold wind chills across the entire eastern half of the country, ranging from well below zero across the Great Lakes to below in New York is what it feels like, 20s all the way down to the Gulf Coast and Florida. A little bit of a moderation in a place like Nashville by tomorrow, getting up to 39 before a reinforcing blast of Arctic air into the weekend. And that can coincide with a storm developing off the East Coast. If it's close enough, may spread snow from the Carolinas all the way up to New England later Saturday into Sunday. Meteorologist Jeff Smith, ABC News.
Coming up, a warning about your tax returns this year, the challenges at the IRS.
But first, what we're learning about this skier in the wrong place at the wrong time, swept up in that avalanche.
And chasing a mountain lion in San Francisco. We're back with a skier in the Canadian Rockies triggering this huge avalanche, carrying them hundreds of feet down the slope. The skier was buried up to their waist and lost both skis. But after being dug out, they walked away uninjured.
Back here at home, people were on edge in the Bay Area. An unwelcome guest visited their neighborhood. In recent days, a 2-year-old has been seen terrorizing the streets of San Francisco.
They determined it was a 2-year-old male. It weighed roughly about 77 to 78 pounds.
A 2-year-old mountain lion.
Oh my God.
It was spotted Sunday night wandering the streets of an upscale neighborhood and then again Monday morning.
This is normal for a male to leave its mother and go claim its own territory.
Tiffany Yap says she came eye to eye with the big cat.
We locked eyes for over 5 minutes. Was actually really honored that the mountain lion didn't eat me.
The animal was found hiding in a garden between apartment buildings yesterday.
They determined that it needed to be tranquilized several times.
Vets with the San Francisco Zoo were called to examine the puma at the scene. Neighbors, locals, even other felines looking on as officials captured the mountain lion and took it away in a crate.
And I hope that, they're able to bring him to a place where it's more natural for him or her.
San Francisco rarely sees mountain lions, but coyotes are relatively common. So common, in fact,
where he'll be released.
That one walked right behind a reporter for our San Francisco station. There it is during her live report about the mountain lion. He was ready for his exclusive interview. The mountain lion, by the way, was last tagged about 50 miles away. It's now being tested before getting released into the wild.
A government watchdog is warning that your tax refunds could be delayed this year. A new memo blames IRS staffing shortages and technology issues. The IRS lost 19,000 employees last year, and we're told many of the seasonal employees haven't been trained yet.
Coming up, why legendary coach Bill Belichick has been denied entry into the Hall of Fame.
Also ahead, the stunning assassination attempt of a politician caught on camera. Shocking video from the Philippines, an attacker firing a rocket-propelled grenade at a local mayor's SUV. The mayor was fine, but 2 security guards were injured. Police later killed several suspects.
The measles outbreak in South Carolina just hit a record high with nearly 800 confirmed cases. That's the biggest outbreak since measles was declared eliminated in the U.S. 25 years ago. Vaccination rates have been lagging in recent years.
Now to the big controversy in the sports world. One of the most controversial football coaches denied a top honor. This morning, the football world stunned after former Patriots coach Bill Belichick was reportedly passed over for the Football Hall of Fame.
I don't think anybody was expecting this.
While Belichick remains eligible for the Hall of Fame indefinitely, reports indicate he did not reach the 40-vote threshold required for induction this year.
If I were a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame voting body, I'd be embarrassed about it, and I'd make it very clear that I was not one of the 11+ who decided not to vote for him.
Patrick Mahomes calling the snub insane. J.J. Watt saying, "I can't be reading this right." Even LeBron James reacting, calling it egregious and disrespectful. Sources say Belichick was puzzled and disappointed, reportedly asking associates, 6 Super Bowls isn't enough? What does a guy have to do? Belichick not only has a record 6 Super Bowl wins with the Patriots, he won another 2 as defensive coordinator for the Giants and holds the record for most postseason wins. But multiple reports say cheating scandals during the Patriots championship run may have played a role in the snub, stirring debate among analysts.
Are you going to hold Tom Brady out over Spygate and Deflategate too? There's guys in there that have been suspended for performance-enhancing drugs, for gambling, for all kinds of things. So now, when it comes to Belichick, it matters, and it's never mattered before.
Overnight, former Bills and Colts general manager Bill Polian denied playing a role in the Belichick snub. After ESPN reported Polian told some voters Belichick should have to wait a year as a punishment for Spygate, a scandal where the Patriots were accused of videotaping signals from opposing coaches. Belichick, more recently, has faced public scrutiny, appearing to struggle as a college coach while dating 24-year-old Jordan Hudson, who's nearly 50 years his junior. The Hall of Fame says it does not comment on voting.
Coming up, the tiny dog rescued after days in the snow.
Plus, Harry Styles fans not happy.
Time to check the pulse. We begin with a life-saving ride during the storm.
Yeah, a snowplow was called in to escort an ambulance to a children's hospital in Cincinnati Sunday. A baby boy in need of urgent care was inside. The plow driver cleared the messy path, driving about 150 feet in front of the ambulance to get to the hospital.
It feels good, you know, as a parent myself, knowing I played a small role in helping this ambulance and this child and family.
The driver says it was the most important trek of his career. Also in the aftermath of the storm, New Jersey's dog survival story.
Trixie the Chihuahua was staying with a dog sitter but got away just before the storm. After 3 days out in frigid conditions and nearly a foot of snow, Trixie was found and brought to police, her owner calling it a miracle. Next, the record-setting demand for Harry Styles concert tickets.
Styles has a 30-show residency at Madison Square Garden. Ticketmaster reports more than 11 million registrations for tickets.
But fans complaining about the high ticket prices, some calling them gross. Next, the world's tallest hotel is in Dubai. The opening is near the top is called the Eye of the Needle.
But for one daredevil, it was a target. He was part of this wingsuit flight and was the only one to fly through the Eye of the Needle at 125 miles per hour. Whew. And finally, a special arrival in Connecticut, 2 penguin chicks.
They hatched at Mystic Aquarium. The African penguins are critically endangered. The aquarium calls it a hopeful milestone. So sweet and too cute.
Top headlines next. Checking more top stories, Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar says she's okay after being sprayed at a town hall with an unknown liquid. President Trump calling her a fraud, telling ABC News she probably had herself sprayed. And he called 2 Republican senators losers after they called for DHS Secretary Kristi Noem to resign over her response to the shooting of Alex Preddy by federal agents.
Authorities in Arizona say a man shot by Border Patrol agents yesterday is an American citizen. They say the man fled from a traffic stop and fired at agents before being wounded.
UPS is retiring its fleet of MD-11 aircraft less than 3 months after one of the planes crashed in Louisville, killing 15 people. All MD-11s have been grounded since.
A town in Sicily is teetering on the edge after a massive landslide. More than 1,000 people had to evacuate after heavy rains.
Today's weather, rain and mountain snow in the northwest, and the deep freeze continues for most of the east. Nashville, 34 degrees today.
And finally, a veteran who's paying it forward.
He spoke with Danny New.
If you blink in Willarney, Minnesota, you just might miss this smiling face waving at you.
Kenny, do you feel like you have more energy now than you ever did?
You're a good question, yes.
In the past 4 years, this naval veteran has become world famous on social media.
Happy Lord!
Known to millions as Patriotic Kenny.
Kenny, when I told my wife I was talking to you today, she went, "Oh my God, I love him."
Oh my.
That's pretty sweet.
You know, that's more than sweet.
Kenny, who has a chronic lung condition, rose to fame in 2021.
Sad about the scooter?
After his neighbor, Amanda, asked folks on TikTok to help raise money to replace his broken mobility scooter. Here's his reaction when they did.
No, you're kidding.
A little more than 4 years later, Kenny and Amanda, who is a teacher at a local deaf school, are still quite close, you could say.
I can't imagine ever knowing Kenny. He's one of the best parts of my whole life. I can't imagine.
Same here.
But since rising to fame, they have also been on a mission together.
I hear you got COPD.
With their nonprofit, the Patriotic Kenny Foundation.
Now I'm paying this forward with other vets that need mobility scooters.
In the past few years, they have donated about 160 mobility scooters to veterans.
Got tears in my eyes.
Who are oftentimes moved to tears.
Thank you so much.
And for Kenny, who turns 84 this week, when he reflects on this whole experience,
I'm so happy what it has given me, you know. It's a great world. There's some good people.
And you're one of them.
Thank you.
First off, happy early birthday, Kenny. And secondly, the Patriotic Kenny Foundation recently changed its rules where you don't have to be nominated by someone else to receive the scooter. You can now nominate yourself as well, guys.
That's your Good Morning America First Look.
I love that story. Have a great day, everyone.